I was the last person my friend chatted with before she bit the dust. And, yep, I straight up lied about her final words 'cause the truth would have thrown the spotlight on that one guy who was the last person to deserve it. My friend Amy kicked the bucket a couple of months ago, and I was the last person to see her alive and kicking. I popped over to her apartment. We binged a movie, pigged out on dinner. Then I split to finish up an essay. Next thing I knew, she OD'd and passed away all alone. Can you believe she was only 19? Our last conversation was as vanilla as they come. I told her it was awesome to see her and thanked her for the chow. We made plans to hit the courts or the field. We were thinking soccer or tennis next week. I said I'd send her that bread recipe we'd been jawing about, and she was pumped to bake it for an upcoming potluck. She wished me luck with my essay, and I was like, man, Brian, my roommate, is always making a racket. He's louder than a jackhammer. Hope I can finish this before he stumbles home from clubbing, wasted as a skunk. She burst out laughing, and her very last words were to say hi to Brian for me. The next day, Amy didn't respond to my texts. So, I shot a message to her roommate, Kara, asking if everything was hunky-dory. Kara had been crashing at her boyfriend's place nearby. She hauled but home and found Amy's body. She broke the heart-wrenching news to me. After that, the cops got involved, and it was a total cluster mess. I didn't go snooping around for details. Amy and Kara were like two peas in a pod, practically sisters. I didn't want to bug Kara with a million questions. And the cops had their job to do. The cops grilled me about that night. Amy had a history of using drugs. They didn't think it was a suicide, but they wanted to know if she was acting shady, if she'd taken anything while I was there, and what time I split. Eventually, they ruled her death non-suspicious. Amy hadn't messaged anyone online after I left, so I was the last person she'd talked to. Kara asked me what Amy's last words were, and I fibbed. I said she'd wished me luck with my essay and hoped I had a good night. Amy was always so full of sunshine and such a genuinely amazing person. Well, wishes seemed like the perfect last words for her. I didn't mention the say hi to Brian part.
Why?
Because Brian can take a hike. There's this running joke among some of my friends about Brian's crazy talent for making everything revolve around him. One time, we decided to do a mock Great British Bake Off for fun. Brian showed up in a flashy, sparkly suit, acting like he was Paul Hollywood himself. He was yelling at everyone the whole time. You're doing it all wrong. Brian can't even draw a straight line, but he'd lecture you non-stop until you finally walked away, rolling your eyes. When we tried improv, it was like doing improv with Michael Scott from The Office. A bunch of us wanted to try life drawing. Somehow, Brian managed to convince everyone to let him be the naked model. At any birthday party, Brian would give long, winded speeches and perform songs, whether you knew him well or not. One of our friends was planning to come out as gay at a little picnic. Brian showed up in full drag, stealing the spotlight like a pro. No matter what sport, instrument, or language you're trying to learn, Brian will claim he's better or would be better if he tried. And trust me, he'll never actually try. He's like a kid who can't stand not being the center of attention. I can't stand Brian. I'm counting down the days until I can move out and get away from him. He thinks he's Mr. Charisma, and at first glance, he seems that way. But over time, you realize it's all just hot air and pure narcissism. Still, a lot of people dig him. He's the life of the party, after all. But his older friends start to see through him. They grow to hate his guts and gradually fade out of the group. I was one of the first to find out about Amy's death. That night, I called my best friend to unload. I was an absolute mess, not thinking straight at all. Brian overheard. He started badgering me for more details.
Why?
Because he'd already started drafting a mass text to tell all of Amy's friends. Amy and Brian had only met maybe twice. I told him he couldn't send it. The cops had just gotten involved. We didn't even know if her parents knew yet. He went on this whole rant about how he could find her parents on Facebook, check property records, and show up at their house in a suit with a bouquet of flowers to break the news. I told him the cops or Kara would do it. Like I said, Kara was like a second daughter to Amy's parents. Why on earth would Brian, a total stranger, be the right person to tell them? He actually said he should get to be the one to tell them. What a piece of work. Thankfully, he held off on telling most people until Amy's parents made an official statement. Then he bragged about knowing the news first. He thought he'd get to speak at her funeral. When that didn't happen, he gave a bunch of long-winded speeches at an informal gathering we had to honor her. If you didn't know they barely knew each other, you'd think they were thick as thieves. He organized a bunch of vigils and events. Sure, it was a good way for people to come together, but I'm so over Brian that I can only see it as him trying to hog the limelight. We set up a fundraiser in Amy's name for a mental health organization she'd used. Brian was super butthurt that he wasn't listed as a contributor. And guess what? He didn't even donate a single dime. We had a memory book where people could write about Amy. Kara wrote half a page. Brian wrote 2.5, going on and on about some imaginary friendship. I hate lying. It makes me feel like I'm going to toss my cookies. A couple of months have passed, and the fact that I lied about Amy's last words is really gnawing at me. It seems like such a small thing, but I didn't pass on her message. She made her final request, and I blew it off. I'm sorry for going on and on about what a jerk Brian is, but I hope it shows why I did what I did. Imagine how he would have acted if he knew her last words were about him. I think I've been channeling my guilt about leaving Amy alone to die into hating Brian. Maybe my anger about lying is part of that guilt. Well, that's what therapy's for, right? Thanks for listening. I've thought this through, and I'm not going to tell anyone the truth.
But I needed to get it off my chest.
Update. I posted on this account 10 months ago. My friend died, and I didn't pass on her final words because they were about my jerk roommate. Brian did everything he could to make her death all about him. Sharing the words would have caused a huge drama fest, but not sharing them was eating me alive. So I spilled my guts on Reddit. I thought it would be like screaming into the void, but I was shocked to get so much support. It really helped me work through my feelings, and it made me feel seen. Thanks to every random stranger on the internet who read my post and showed me some love. Y'all are the real MVPs. I was carrying a mountain of guilt. Being the last person to see her alive was weighing me down big time. Reading all the comments encouraged me to seek therapy. Big shout out to everyone who told me to do that. Let me address some of the comments. Some people said really harsh things about Amy because she did drugs. That's on me, and it's a whole new layer of guilt to deal with. Some people thought my story was fake because I changed the names from A, B, C to Amy, Brian, and Kara. I did that cause it was easier to read. Some people thought Brian and Amy were secretly best friends or lovers. No way. He met her twice in group settings. Most of his speeches were about a friendship that never really happened. And by the way, she was gay. Some people said no 19-year-old could have that many hobbies. We were in a bunch of societies together. It was only 2 or 3 evenings a week, and we didn't have a crazy study load or jobs. I don't know why some people thought that was impossible. Some people said I was making Amy's death about Brian. Fair point. My post turned into a total Brian bashing session. But sometimes, when you're grieving, you focus on the things that help you get through. And for me, it was hating Brian. Some people said I was making it all about myself. Hey, it's my post. It's the Off My Chest subreddit. I'm here to unload anonymously. I couldn't do this in real life without looking like a self-centered jerk. Now for the updates. I'm doing okay. Grief is like a roller coaster. Some days it's a breeze, and some days it hits me like a ton of bricks. It's been a year since Amy passed, and I can think about her without crying now.
Kara's doing all right.
She took some time off from school, but recently came back. One of her family members moved closer to support her while she finishes her degree. Amy's parents came down for the anniversary memorial. It was good to see them, but it was hard to tell if they were really doing better or just putting on a brave face. They've been keeping busy. Brian found a new group of friends. That's something he does all the time. Just as quickly as he took over Amy's memorials, he lost interest. After a month or so, he was over it. He started being passive-aggressive to those of us who were still mourning. I moved out and used the advice from commenters to gray rock him out of my life. He bailed on the anniversary of Amy's death to go to a theme park. And he was mad that we didn't reschedule the memorial for him. There are still some people in our group who tolerate him, but he's found a new bunch of impressionable freshmen to try to impress. One time, we planned a beach clean-up event. Brian showed up late, wearing a bright orange jumpsuit that made him look like a traffic cone. He started bossing everyone around, saying he had a better system for collecting trash. When no one listened to him, he stormed off, leaving a trail of drama behind. If you want more Brian stories, I've been journaling. There are some real eye rollers in there. Maybe I'll share them sometime, but not right now.